Today, something a little different from me. You've seen me shooting for years with mostly Nikon cameras and a Canon camera here and there. What you haven't seen me do is take a lens that doesn't say Nikon on it and mount it to one of my Nikon cameras. Let's talk a little bit about third-party lenses, like this one, and some of the pros and cons of looking beyond your camera manufacturer's available stock of lenses. First, to make it clear, this lens is specifically designed to work with Nikon cameras. We're not taking a lens designed from one brand and using it on another. There are ways to actually do that, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we are talking about is brands like Tamron and Sigma designing lenses to work specifically with a certain camera system. Here I have the Tamron 17-50 f2.8 lens. This lens is a great way to get a fixed aperture zoom lens for a much lower price than you can get from Nikon. I've been using this lens for a couple weeks, and I have to say, I've been really impressed. The optics are great, and it's done the job for me each time out. Here are some samples. Okay, so let's talk about why you would or wouldn't consider a lens like this. For starters, what is tempting is the price. For just a few $100s, you're getting something that has nearly all of the capability of this lens, which is well over $1,000. Is the difference between this and this just the Tamron or Nikon name? Some people will tell you that that's the only difference, and in some cases they might be right, but there's more to consider here. First, this Nikon 17-55 f2.8 is built like a tank. You should never give your lenses a beating, but if one gets roughed up a little, this gives me the confidence that it will keep on going. This Tamron is a trooper, but it's much lighter and feels a lot less solid than the Nikon lens. It's more along the lines of the build quality of this 18-70 zoom lens, although this Nikon lacks the fixed aperture through the zoom range that the Tamron has. Effectively, you're getting a better version of what Nikon offers on the lower to mid-range. In my shooting comparisons, these three lenses all came very close in terms of image quality. People tend to say that these third-party lenses tend to be a little soft, but what I can say is that the one that I tested was spot on. In fact, I was out in the mountains shooting a fire tower from miles and miles away, and everything was very sharp on all three lenses. Then I shot some intricate tree bark from very up close. Again, great performance from this, and this. There is one thing to keep in mind. The major camera manufacturers don't license the mount or the computer controls that the mount uses. The third parties are reverse engineering the technology to make sure that the lens and camera are communicating properly. Most of the time, this is not a problem, but when new bodies are released, sometimes third-party lenses need a firmware update to retain continued compatibility with the Nikon system. This can mean sending your lens in, or in Sigma's case, they sell a dock so you can do the firmware update at home. Is this potential problem worth it? The lenses tend to be less expensive, so you would have to decide if this uncertainty factor as you upgrade bodies is okay with you. So yes, there are some compromises and things to be aware of, but are third-party lenses a bad idea? Not by any stretch. Hey, if you need guaranteed compatibility and lenses that can withstand World War III, yes, I'd start by looking at lenses made by your camera manufacturer. But if you don't want to spend the big bucks and still have tremendous shooting capability, some of these third-party lenses are really worth a look at. After shooting with this Tamron for a couple weeks, I can tell you I could easily shoot with it every day. It does everything I need. I do like the fact that this Nikon seems more likely to keep me shooting in harsh conditions, but one, I'm not in a battle zone shooting too often, and two, you could buy a few of these before it added up to the price of one of these. So that's something to consider as well. I really try to call things down the middle, and yes, I'm definitely biased towards my Nikon lenses, but shooting with this Tamron for a couple weeks has made me rethink some of my preconceived notions. What do you think about third-party lenses? Let me know in the comments.